Yeah. Welcome back, family, to another Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. We got a full house today. So this is our third week on parenting. And so this week we got a real conversation. If everybody know that it's the third Wednesday of the month, which means we are doing brother to brother, which means if you are watching us on YouTube, we got a whole bunch of brothers on here. I mean, brothers that have been on the show before. Brothers that have been on this show before, but have decided to allow themselves to be a part of this conversation in a much wider perspective. So today we're talking about fatherhood in the shadows of child support in the courts. And so we just, going to look at this thing called parenting or fatherhood from some of the constraints that we have based off of what we go through in the court system. So now let's talk about it. So fatherhood is more than money. It's presence, it's guidance, it's laughter in the living room, discipline when it's needed, and love when it's hardest to give. So, but too often, society and courts reduce a man's role to just a paycheck. And when that happens, fatherhood gets flattened into a financial transaction. Here's the stats. So in America, so U.S. Census, about 1 in 5 children in America receive child support, but only 44% of those payments are made in full. Behind those numbers are real fathers, real kids, real relationships that are strained by the system that doesn't always get, the spotlight. And when it comes to custody, so the picture is even tougher. Mothers are awarded sole custody in nearly 80% of cases. Only about 1 in 6 custodial parents are fathers. That means even when men step up, even when they show as though they want to be within those kids' life, or want to be, a little bit more than what they boil us down as fathers, we're still unfit, or the system sees us as if we are not qualified. So this is about to be a man. We're going to talk about child support. We're going to talk about the system, stability, future, and all that. So I just want to introduce everybody. If you're watching on my left, I got my man Ivra. So I'm gonna bring him in. He's our regular co-host on Brother to Brother. What's up?
This is a topic that hits home for me, man. Because I'm a statistic when it comes to this.
Yeah,
it's not cool. Cuyahoga County for the young people, they don't. Man, I could talk for days. I could talk for days.
And then, right on his left,
man, I'm fired up.
We got the owner of Wave Max Laundry, located in Maple Heights. We got my man Brian Simmons. What's going on, B? How you feel?
I am Brian Simmons, and I am a child support survivor. I'm a child support payment survivor.
Oh my.
So am I. And then last but not least, you hear him a little bit on the 45 of the hour. We got my man Bilal Akram. He is the CEO and founder of Code In Magazine. B, what's going on, man?
You got it, brother. Glad to be here, man. And you said it's a full house, right? That'd be 3 of a kind.
Right.
That'd be 3 of a kind.
So much in all that we're going to talk about today. Speaking of fathers, my father calling in on me. That's wild. But speaking of fathers, we're going to talk about fathers, the court system. And once again, this is not about blame. This is about just literally having an honest conversation, an honest dialogue as it relates to this thing they call fatherhood and parenting, and really what the system is telling us that what we can and cannot do. And this came about actually, B, this was your thing. Yeah. Come to the mic, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
I know you got that Scorpio in you. You got that cool.
Man. It was a whole deal.
Yeah, this actually came from you. You were the one that we were talking, on our way back from. I was on my way back from somewhere, and you called and we was talking about what was going on as it relates to the child support system, or not even. It was really just literally the court system.
Yeah, we just say just
the whole system,
whole procedures.
Did you want to give them a little overview, or no? You want to wait?
Man, we heavy, man. We're gonna get into it. But I've had a recent situation where I had to take custody of my grandkids, and that experience was at times traumatic.
Yeah.
Just dealing with the different agencies within the agency.
Yeah.
And and all of their policies and quirks and everything. But we got through it. The kids are back home with their parents now.
Okay.
So I have some exciting conversations lined up for you.
Yeah. Then once he spoke to me, then I already knew what Ivra was going through.
Man, listen.
Did you?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep it real simple.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen to a child is for the child's parents to fight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First
Absolutely.
and foremost.
Yep.
Secondarily, the second worst thing is an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to do is put mom and dad in a room,
Talk,
and y'all just gonna figure this out
man.
on your own.
Yeah.
Until you're gonna have to figure it out.
What's weird is recently I had, or as a part of, so last month was on relationships, and I had a divorce lawyer here, and she's part of my board, and she also is across the hall, and frequently she brings men over, to my practice in order to be seen. And I asked her, I said, when are we going to have a better system for this child support thing? When are we going to set up a trust? And from that trust, all the money goes into that. She was like, well, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that she said is not going to happen is it has more to do about the human condition.
Correct.
So what you got on that, B?
You know what I mean? First of all, it takes maturity.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take maturity to have the child. It
Yeah.
takes maturity to raise a child.
Right.
My situation, I had a child out of wedlock. I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother and I didn't. It was a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, just be honest.
Yeah.
And, she's not someone that I thought I would spend my life with, but I had a child.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
It wasn't for her. It was for my child.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I just had to do what I need to do to be a good father to him.
Right.
And respectful to her in the process.
Now, it was interesting. We're all married, right? So
Yes.
all four of us.
Yes.
And we all have a child outside of wedlock.
Yes.
Before the age of 20, right?
Right.
Mine was
right.
at 20.
So mine was at 25.
Yeah,
Mine was at
25.
Mine was 39.
39.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You dodged the bullet for a long
I did. I dodged the bullet for a long time, only to get hit with a howitzer.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has been rough, bro.
Really?
So what's crazy is
put me
this
through it.
It's the idea of blended family.
Yes.
So when you have this type of situation, you have what's called a blended family, and you gotta, just like it says, you gotta bring all that together,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta be mature. Now, similarly, when my oldest son's mom got pregnant, it was something that happened inside and was like, yeah, we're not gonna be together. I just decided, just then, was like, yeah, it probably would be a good idea if we don't, be together, because it's going to end bad. And so that was how I, and then when we went to child support, I was cool with it because I saw what my mom, well, let me not say that. I saw what happened with my family and my father as it relates to, he was paying child support, I think, all the way up until I was like 21, 22.
What?
Yes.
You didn't get emancipated when you were 18?
Yeah, but he had what's called the rears. Actually, I got him. I literally got it.
Rears.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So
the vapors. He
right.
had the rears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But no, for real, I did get emancipated, but he still needed to, in order for me to get stuff for school, but he still needed to pay.
He had to get caught up.
Yeah.
That's why I put myself on child support.
Yeah.
When I got married early in my marriage, my wife and I talked about it. I said, let me just go ahead and put myself on child support.
Let's just do it.
So literally, because I hadn't been paying, I got a 2-week check for 88 cents from my job.
Yeah.
I just looked at it. I was like,
Hey man,
what am I gonna do with 88 cents?
Ooh.
well, I was the idiot. So I had my son at 19.
Yeah.
And I actually had 2 girls pregnant at the same time. 19. But that's another story.
We're gonna skip that story.
Yeah,
we're gonna skip that story.
That's another
That's a whole
episode.
nother
That's a
episode.
whole-
We're gonna skip that.
But it just gives credence to the conversation,
Right.
And and the understanding that just like when we were kids,
Yeah.
we had to take that driver's exam.
Yeah.
And on that driver's exam, you had to know the laws.
That parallel parking.
And you had to know the signs, right? Everything. Well, we need to have some sort of driver's in the class.
Because
So-
you can practice as much as you want.
Well, I'm saying because we operate, and I'm saying we as when we were single men,
Yes.
and single men today,
Yes.
they operate in, and when I say they operate in, dealing with women,
Yeah.
everything, not knowing that, hey, look, these women have a whole system that protects them from
Yeah.
guys like you.
Yeah.
Because bottom line, whether you married or not, kids, costs
money. Say it again for the people in the back.
And kids change lives.
Yeah. That's the other part. And the changing life part has more to do with you as a fully formed adult at the age of 13 have the ability. Now, just so that you know, you producing some sperm. You got the ability to create another being.
Right.
And you can practice as much as you want.
Right.
But when that happens, you got to pay the piper, as they say.
Yes, you do. And so that's what I'm saying, man. We need to figure out a way that we can, teach them the game so they can understand that, hey, look here, man, you slanging like that, bro. You get caught up.
Yeah.
And you know what? With that being said, and to your point, one of the first things I do when I mentor young men, two things I harp on. One, education.
Right.
The second one is don't be a father at a young age.
Because
lack of education and then becoming a father were two things that will definitely derail the trajectory of your life, of your success, of your finances. And I mean, there's so many things that can happen. Those are two things to talk about is don't have a child young.
Yeah.
So
you had yours at 19. You had yours at 39, 38.
Yeah.
You had
20.
I was 25.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I had that child or when that child was on his way, I needed to grow up because I saw, I'm not sure if y'all had this experience, I saw what it did to men. And I said, I don't want that.
Dude, I was 20. I didn't even know who I was.
Right, I get it.
And I was getting ready to move to LA.
Yeah. Oh.
So I went to LA and it was like a mental explosion. I'm like, y'all live like this every day, sunshine, women, My boy was like, yeah, man, this is every day.
Every day.
I'm moving to LA.
Every day.
I probably had about 30 kids out there. But when my child was, I got the call that, my son, that I was expecting a child here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I decided to move back to Cleveland to be a responsible father.
Okay.
So it changed the trajectory.
It changes. It definitely
might have saved my life.
It might have saved your life. So we're gonna jump on our midday mix. So when you because I know you listen to the show when you're not here and when you're about to be on. So I know that you listen to the show, but during that midday mix, we do a little bit, about 5 minutes worth of moving, grooving, and making sure that we can get our bodies moving. So this is our midday mix. I want everybody to jump up, move your bodies. All right, so that's our abridged midday mix so that we can jump back into our conversation because these brothers are already talking. So we do got to take our first break. Right. And once we come back from our first break, we're gonna jump right into it. Actually, B asked Ivra a question. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with that one. But hold on, not yet. After the break. Hold on, man. So after our break, we're gonna come back and we're gonna pay some bills. Tell the public what's going on. But once again, this is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Support.
Welcome back, Unapologetic. So we're gonna jump right into it. This is our third installment into our parenting. And so today we're talking about fathers because it's brother to brother. Now, what was happening during the break, Ivra and Bilal was talking about this concept of having a child outside. So I'm gonna let because he is the only one here that owns a media company. I'm gonna let you go ahead and start it off. What was the question you asked, Ivra?
And the question that I'm asking is not from the media perspective, it's from a Black male perspective and from my EAP lens, Employee Assistance Program. The question I asked Ivra was, as a man, how does that make you feel not having a relationship with your daughter?
I don't think there's a worse feeling, honestly. For me, especially to do as much as I've done for my child and still not have a relationship. I moved an entire family from Columbus to Cleveland to be with her so that my other two children can grow up with their sister and have their sister love on them and her love on them. Man, that relationship or the lack thereof has put me in therapy. Because there's, when we grew up, you had a problem, the problem will be solved in the next 5 minutes,
right?
Because we about to throw some hands,
right.
And either I'm gonna get whooped or you gonna get whooped.
Right.
But in 5 minutes,
it's gonna be a resolution.
The solved problem will be in front of us, and to not be able to resolve a problem and to understand that my daughter has the benefit of family and loved ones that she never gets to benefit from.
That's her village.
That's her people. And so it's hard for me to reconcile when you got a myriad of people that love your child.
Yeah.
Why would you prevent that child from getting that love?
Well, let me piggyback on that, because I had the kind of same situation with our granddaughter.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
do. Who lives in Florida. She's 13. And we've only seen her twice in her life, maybe 3 times. And I'm stretching to saying 3 times. Yeah. And it's like, as you said, we have a whole village here that wants to meet her and love on her, but she hasn't come. And I've pleaded with her mother. I've tried to mend the relationship, the little relationship that we've had, and try to like, look, you're part of our family too. We're forever intertwined.
Right. Yeah.
Come up here to Cleveland. You come with my granddaughter. Get to meet the people here, get to meet our family so that she can start coming on her own.
Right.
But it's that empty feeling,
But here's the
I was about to ask you that.
The flip
go for
that
it.
is when, your kids are adults and you don't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
And then they have kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So talk about your situation, Brian.
Well, my situation again, for years, my son and I, we didn't see eye to eye.
How old is he now?
He's 31.
Okay. All right.
He's 31. So, through life experiences, some of the messages that I've spoken to him are, they starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
So, we're at a point where we're mending now. We're at a point we're mending now. So, and during that time,
wait. I love what you said about that mending. MEN. Mending. I love that. Okay.
Right.
He's becoming a man.
That's what.
So, okay. But anyway,
as he becomes a man, you become a genius.
But that's the other part. I was just about to say that.
But and I didn't ask for it. Right. I didn't ask for it. It was solely, and as I told him, I said, look here, man, it wasn't about me knowing everything. It was, dude, I didn't want you to make the mistakes that I made.
But they had to, though.
So they didn't have to.
Some of them.
They didn't have to.
Let's go back to this idea because we all were spoken to. I know each one of y'all personally. We all were spoken to. And there were things that was said that if we had listened and we weren't in our shadows, we would have did better.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, go for it.
I know my dad loved me. There's no question about that.
Got you.
But I don't ever remember him sitting me down and say, son, he didn't have that talk with me like that.
Okay.
So, but I had it with my sons.
Yeah.
Like, look, here's a banana. Let's show you how to use a condom, so that here's the condom. I'm gonna buy you some if you need some more. I didn't have that talk.
Well, we talking generations now.
Yeah.
So
I'm out here. I'm
did
like
you have this
freestyling
talk?
Like you, B. I'm freestyling.
Did I have that talk? I had several men. I had the community of men in my family constantly.
What was the talk that you had?
I mean, just flat out. Hey, look, you see how it is, and it ain't nothing different,
right?
Right.
I mean,
So
I'm go for yours. What was your talk?
So I had the benefit of having dad at home.
Yeah.
And I don't honestly remember a talk with my dad necessarily.
Yeah.
But I do know that it was implied that you don't bring nothing home.
Yeah, two things you don't bring home: the police and the baby.
Right. or anything you can't get rid of with some pills.
Right, with some penicillin.
Right.
So it was, for me, it was always, I had a different track though. I had a collegiate athletic track. I had educational piece or military. Like there was a track that I was heading on.
Okay.
It was no two ways about it. It was like, because now the pops did say you either gonna get a job or you going to school.
Right.
And so for me, it was like, I'm gonna go and play and have fun. And there was a whole different, like, knowing that I didn't have a kid, there was a whole different world that was open. And that was fun because I was in California acting fool.
Wow.
And people would say, you 30, I remember being 35 years old with a 23-year-old girlfriend. And they're like, how do you not have kids? I'm like, I lost track of time. Like, what am I supposed to do? It wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah.
That California sunshine was the thing.
So I didn't have I remember the first time, so I'm just gonna say it because we men. First time I had a wet dream.
Right.
Went to my mom, right? And she sent me to my grandmother and she said, oh, that's just what happened when two people rub up together. So I didn't have that talk either.
Right.
But I do remember when I had to talk with my oldest son, how angry the oldest son's family was on the other side that I'd had that talk and sent them home with condoms.
Wow. But you did the responsible thing as a father.
I did exactly what I was supposed to be doing as a father.
Yes,
Man,
yes.
don't nobody care about y'all getting mad.
But right.
Look here, bro, because
you'll get over it.
Because guess what? Because guess what? He got a tool now.
Right.
He got a tool. And he can't feign like I didn't know.
Yeah.
You did talk.
You cannot.
You can't say
so that concept of ignorance of
yes.
I do not know could never work before with us, but it really can work. But this is what I go back to this point. There's a different role that fathers have that just simply cannot be duplicated by a woman. That doesn't mean we're putting women down. Right. That's literally just talking about our role as fathers. When we interject this idea of fatherhood, so we're going through all of this. We all chose to have sex with a woman. Right. And in choosing to have the sex with the woman, what are some of the things that you wish you would have thought of?
Let me go back to your point though.
How much time you got?
Hold on.
I love the point
that
that you
that
just.
one first.
Yeah, hold on, but yeah, go for it.
The point that you're making, you are not mad at a dog that it can't fly.
Right.
So why are you mad at a man that he can't be a woman, or vice versa?
Right.
And that's what people don't understand. I'm not trying to say that I can be the mom.
Right.
But understand that I have a role and let me play my role. That's it.
What were you about to say, B?
Well, hey, listen, to your point, when you said, did you think?
Yeah.
So then that's perfect that you say that because, again, the experience I just had with, my son and, with the county and having, custody of my grandkids and everything, you know what I'm saying? I had that moment, I had that moment where it all flashed back like, this is all your fault.
Yeah.
This is all your fault.
Yeah.
So you say, dang, I didn't think 30 years later that I would be having my grandkids at the house. I got to take care of them because I messed with her.
Yep.
So it hit me in that moment.
And the butterfly effect.
The other thing, Bilal, is that you are perpetually connected to that person for as long as you exist.
Right. True that. But the irony of it is, my son's mother passed.
Oh, okay.
On my birthday.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's deep. So that's a whole different level of grief,
man.
My son called me. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I saw his number. I'm like, oh, this ain't a good call. He's calling.
6 o'clock.
Dad, my mom passed. I'm like, on my birthday.
You don't want. And it took me to actually watch a movie about a little girl whose mom had passed away for me to stop wishing my daughter's mother would be dead.
Yeah.
Oof.
But no, let's be real.
Understand what it.
The hate comes
you don't,
in.
but you don't understand until you actually see it. You don't understand the ramifications of what it would happen for her.
Right.
And it's not. And so this is the other, and I appreciate what Ivra is saying, because what he's saying, he's literally talking about a genuine emotion of, I need to be disconnected from you. And I know the only way is for you not to be
I ain't going nowhere.
Right. I ain't going nowhere.
But see, the thing about it is, I had no emotional connection with my son's mother. None.
I wish.
None.
Yeah.
My only,
and my thing was, this was way back in the day. I had two of my boys. We were gonna go to court, and they all three was gonna say, "Well, I slept with her." We were like, "We ain't know who's." But when he was born, it was like it was no doubt.
Well, I mean, and for me, it's the only emotion that I have, and I see this woman from time to time as I go watch my daughter play in the marching band. Is that I know that there's going to be a consequence for my daughter.
So
there's going to be a consequence.
That's the thing, though. While us adults are fighting about this concept, it's the kids that absorb this and move forward. So if I pivot this to the court system, before I jump in, because Brian, looked like you got something that you wanted to say.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm all in.
So when we bring in this artificial system as it relates to courts, and it's in place for the idea that deadbeat dads, quote unquote, term that came, what was that, in the early 70s, 60s, 70s, deadbeat dads can pay what's due. When you think about the origin of this thing called, because it goes from fatherhood, no longer being an intact father or in the house. So you can be a father without being a husband or a partner. So it goes from fatherhood to now, because cats was leaving their family and is going down south, or they had a whole nother family on the other side. This concept of deadbeat dads and how we're going to pay for this young life, because the state no longer wanted to pay for it. They implemented this system. Now the system is predatory in a way. What you got on that?
You know what? But I mean, I don't want to just say. First of all men aren't deadbeat dads.
Amen.
So that's a term that's a stigma, and it's usually associated with men of color.
Exactly.
And that's false because men of color are more engaged with their kids,
more
than
present,
any other
more
culture.
engaged. Right.
So with that being said, we're gonna debunk that myth. But secondly, I also have to think about it from a woman's standpoint.
Yeah.
There are a lot of women who were quote unquote stuck with the child with getting no financial assistance.
It definitely.
So
happened.
I definitely understand the need for some sort of system to help women who have children,
right? And
the men aren't present.
But it's not equitable.
But it's not equitable. It's not.
It is not equitable in any way.
No.
What you got, Brian?
Let's say, man. Bottom line, man. Whether you're married or single, with kids cost money.
Money.
Bottom line, they cost money. So
and time.
And time. But in this situation here, like I said, if you're single and you out here, you have to understand that, if you get yourself caught up and you don't plan on marrying a young lady, then this is what you got to deal with. Yeah. You got to deal with these agencies and these policies.
Yep.
This is what you're going to have to deal with unless you've created a situation where you and the young lady, manage a situation where, you're not downtown and you created that type of situation. But if you created that type of situation, you probably need to be together.
Yeah.
But
hey, bro, give me some of that.
But you ain't gonna find that nowhere else, my brother. You better go ahead and make that
rare.
Yeah. But you're going to pay. So either way, you're going to pay. Are you going to do it and build a community, or are you going to build it and have the hate and resentment and tear down community?
Yeah, and I would also say that avoid that system at all costs.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens when you get put into the child support or you get put in to the custodial guardian ad litem and that big circus, I'm gonna let that one linger for a minute. It's a circus.
It's the circus
that it is. Ultimately, it's going to be worse for you. It's going to be worse for the child. If you can figure out a way to just figure it out, and you don't necessarily. I mean, I wanted to figure it out, and I didn't want to be with that woman. I wanted to figure it out. What's the
better system? So all everybody here smart, got multiple things going on. What's the better system? So if you have a child, and in order to make this thing equitable, because from what I hear, it could be inevitable that you're going to pay depending on what state you live in and the laws within that state. Right. So what's the better system? So Cuyahoga County, what's the better system?
Obviously, as Ivra and B was saying, having that relationship with the mother, being able to communicate for the betterment of the child, the needs of the child. But the only caveat to that is you can be cool with that mother for 16 years.
I was just about to say that.
And then you piss her off. She's like, oh, well, I'm going to go file. So then you're talking about now that term arrears come in.
I was just about to say that.
So it's like, oh, man, for real.
Well,
I got receipts. Of course, don't care about your receipts.
And that's the thing. What they said was that's a gift.
Oh, yeah,
that's not a part of your payment. So
Correct.
any clothes that you bought, anything that you did, that you did was never a part of the original pay. I want to know a better system.
She told me that when I brought that, she said, well, look, we starting from today.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to start from today here. So all that you did, that's nice. That's good. But we're going to start from today.
Okay.
Now,
so then I don't have to pay the other stuff then. If we starting today.
But no, some can go back
today.
Some can go back to birth.
Okay.
My situation, she took me down there, so I go into court. Yeah, man, I've been, I'm like, I don't need to pay child support. I take care of my son. I got receipts for this. I got receipts for that. That's nice. We're gonna start from today.
Who's your judge? Probably.
Okay, we're gonna start from today, and we're gonna go until what 2000 and what's that? 2013, 2014.
Yeah, somewhere right. Yeah,
we're gonna go until then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen. For me, my daughter's 15. I can see the runway.
Yeah.
Emancipation.
I can see the runway.
The
landing gear ain't down just yet, but I can see the runway.
Right.
The weirdest thing is, this is still supposed to be for the actual child.
Right.
And, statistics and spending accountability has shown the money does not go towards the child. And the verification is because I'm the custodial parent and I also need to do things. We still haven't got to a better system. Who got an idea on a better system?
A better system does not exist when it comes to your child. The system that works is what nature creates.
I got you.
Right. Right.
If you have to figure out, two people created a child and two people got to figure out how to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
When you require too much outside influence, then you have lost control to a point, and there will never be the pure situation that a child needs.
So you're talking more government.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's talking more government.
Yeah.
Talking more government.
Is that so? From that standpoint, the government is already in it. A revamping of this thing could or could not happen.
It costs too much.
Cost too much.
I mean,
it's too many. I mean,
it costs it costs the system too much. The system would then lose.
But don't forget that part,
right? Because
but look, essentially what we're saying is so the county is going to hire people to sit here and manage trust accounts and making sure the money. You want to get the county more money to manage?
Well, this is
what
I'm thinking is different in that you have county employees that have different responsibilities,
right?
Right. So if we are shifting, so the people that run child support, I would love to see. To me, what would work, from having been in this thing most recently, what would work is when you go into that system, the requirement that an agreement that is equitable is what walks out.
See, that's too much. They're not going to do that's too much.
Right. And the reason why they're not going to do it is because attorneys benefit.
That's what I'm saying. That's too
attorneys
much.
benefit.
That's what I was about. Yeah.
Guardians ad litem benefit. So then what would the judge do? The judge wouldn't have anything to do.
So the simple thing is to do, hey,
it's a dollar grab.
And then how they spend it, how they spend it.
But this is the interesting part. Out of $1, at least maybe 30% goes to the actual child.
Maybe, yes.
So if you look at that, 70 cents of that dollar goes to, for the most part, to run the actual system. So what we're posing, or what I'm posing, is the city or the system lose 70 cents for every dollar that they collect.
Huh? That's not happening.
Okay.
That ain't happening. Right. That ain't happening.
So if we go backwards, do we need more men in the house talking about the realness of all these things that you have? You want to go out and practice, just understand when you go out and practice, and that's what I mean having sex. You go out and practice, just know that this could be your life.
Correct.
Based off of where you located. If you're going to practice in Ohio, in Cuyahoga County, this is what it's going to look like for your dollars.
And when I was mentoring kids in the CMSD, I would use myself as an example, and I would tell them, hey, look here, man, I paid over $175,000 in child support.
Wow.
It could have all been avoided.
Wow.
How much were rubbers back in the 90s?
Probably about 19.
$9 a box, baby.
It was $5. So
hey,
instead of paying
$3.19.
instead of paying $5, I paid over that.
Or abstinence.
Yeah,
because that's a whole different.
But you got that equipment.
The question
you don't know how to use that. You don't know how to use that equipment, so you got to practice.
I know, but the question too is, how do you get to these young brothers? How do you get to these young brothers who are having kids now?
Because we need to get to it, because when they get angry,
right?
They beating on these chicks.
They are.
They are killing chicks.
Yes.
They can't have the conversations that we talk.
So that's a whole nother
conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
Catching domestic violence charges and stuff, man. I mean, so it's important that we do get this information out to them so they can understand that, hey, look here, man, if you single and you out here practicing, it's rules to this game. The county has already wrote a manual.
There are consequences.
Right.
So you need to read that manual, okay, and operate and learn the rules again. Learn what the traveling is, learn what a double dribble is.
So what I want to do is flip it a bit. So we're talking about custodial parents. Well, we're just talking about men paying.
Talking about men, period.
But if that too. But if we flip it, if we're looking at custodial, it's very rarely that men gets custodial parenting of their child. They also, it's very rare that the child support system will award to men. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. I know, B, you went and was attempting to get custody of your kids. I mean, of your grandkids. Yeah. It seemed as if, by the way you was talking, the custodial or getting custody was just real problematic.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm speaking from the grandfather side, but looking at you know, all the statutes and everything. I mean, it's pretty. It's. I'm not gonna say it's It's just it's difficult. I mean, because it pretty much it comes down to physical abuse, sexual abuse, or the mother is just like getting ready to go to jail for like a long period of time. Right.
That's the check. Those are the Cuyahoga County check boxes in order for the mother to be viewed as unfit. As the custodial.
That's a generalization.
Right.
Well, no. That's a generalization, but it's real. It's real. It's actually real.
You know who's unfit is Cuyahoga County. if we really,
but to be honest, I got custody of my kids when I got divorced.
Yeah,
I got custody of my kids.
Was it a part of the divorce decree?
Yes, it was. But she wanted to leave town, and she knew instinctively. She knew I was the better parent.
Okay.
So,
but it required her to do that.
It did.
Otherwise, it would have been different.
Yes.
Right. So I never attempted to get custody of my child because I knew at that age I was already homeless. When I a little bit after he was born, I didn't have a residency, so I knew I wasn't going to play that game. But there are individuals that attempt to get custody of their.
That's the biggest mistake I've ever made.
What do you mean?
Really?
Oh my God! For my daughter.
Oh my God!
Why?
Because the system, I can't win. Period.
Wow, hard to win.
I can't, and that was when my aunt. She told me one day. She was like, "The reason why you having all that problem is," she's like, "You used to winning."
Right.
She's like, you are used to winning.
Yeah, I had that.
And when you can't win, and so no matter what I did, I couldn't win.
Right.
No matter no matter that I could show you that I was better at this. That my house was more enriching than hers. And then the law says that parents are on equal footing. It's not true.
But just like all women created equal.
It's not true.
That's not true either.
But no, to go back to the point, the more you fight, the less you win.
The more I fought, the more damage I did to myself.
That's what I'm saying.
And I had the same situation where, that fight in me, rubbed the court the wrong way.
Yeah,
because it shows you
aggressive. Aggressive. Well, I'm performing.
Right. It's
like, nah, man, this. I'm being me. This is how I take care of business. But and they looked at that as if I was a two-headed monster, man.
One of the things that enraged me the most is when the guardian ad litem, Troy Hughes, man, he said neither one of these parents' hands are clean. When the only thing I wanted to do was see my child.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did he mean by hands are clean?
That he said that. So basically, it was she's violated, he violated.
Right.
When all I'm trying to do is pick up my child, go home. She would call the police when I would just come to pick up my daughter.
Yeah.
I had a situation where it took so long for me to get my daughter that I couldn't even make it home.
Okay.
So I just went to the police station to go sit for 20 minutes, hold my baby as she slept. And as I pulled in, my daughter's grandfather was following me. And the Solon police told that fool that if you don't leave him alone, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
So that was like my typical interaction.
And once again, we're not talking about the kids. We're talking about the adults.
Yeah. Acting
so we're talking about
acting a fool.
All of us are level-headed, educated, successful brothers.
Yep.
Imagine having a brother who doesn't have the education, street, and don't have the intellect or wisdom to know how to handle things. Can you imagine how left that's going to go?
I have to admit that yes, you're correct. And a lot of times when we're talking, we're very highbrow, right? On this show, we were like very highbrow. People were like, well, you up here. But I was once down here too.
That's why I came out and said, hey, look, you're talking to somebody who's messing up.
Right. But we were once down here and we were telling like everyone, I know, Brian, you mentored. I know you mentored. We all mentored. Now I think about it. We've all spoken to the young dudes and was like, yo, this is what you need to do if you're going to practice, right? There's only two things that you don't need license for: to practice to have a child and to have a child. If you're going to practice, one, understand that every time you practice, you can be a father.
That's right.
Prior to going into it, I know we got these consent laws and whatnot. You need to think, do you want to be connected to that person for the rest of your life, theirs or whatever? We say that, but man, shoot, man, but mama good, bro, man, we good, man. Shane, what you talking about,
shorty
bro?
good.
My shorty good, cuz.
Okay.
That's you old school. You got these problems, cuz. We're gonna take a quick break. But what I do want to look at is this idea of cheaper to keeper, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna talk about paychecks, we're gonna talk about all this. We're gonna look at this idea: is it cheaper to keeper? Because there's a last month we talked about the divorce rate. Right. And we looking at Black and brown communities, and it's this thing called gray divorce. I don't know if you all ever heard of this.
No.
We
talked
gray divorce.
Gray divorce is where you're just existing in a household until something happens.
Okay.
And what I'm noticing is that the clients that I'm working with that are in the household that feel the same way that we're expressing, they're just in the household because they've said it's cheaper to keep her. And I'd rather pay alimony or whatever it's called rather than pay child support. So I'm in this household for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side, we're going to talk about this idea of cheaper to keep her. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is our brother to brother. And this is our third Wednesday of the month where we talk brother and brother. If you notice, we got a whole lot of brothers in here with me. We got Bilal Akram, who is the CEO and founder of Coding Magazine. We got the owner, Brian Simmons of Wave Max Laundry out there in Maple. We got Ivra, who is always a financial advisor and talking about money. So we're about to bring in this idea of cheaper to keep her. So as I said on the other side,
indeed,
right. As I said on the other side, if we're going to look at this from a actual what it is what it is standpoint, right? So we can play the game of I wish and if I had only, but what I in my profession as a therapist, what I'm getting are men who are participating in what's called a gray divorce. And that gray divorce is I'm sitting around for long enough in order for the kids to get to a certain age and then we're done, right? So that I'm not sure if anyone ever watched the Modern Family. Modern Family was a very popular show, and it showed a diverse family. There's an episode when Ed O'Neill, who is also married to a Black woman, Ed O'Neill is talking to Al Bundy.
Really? Oh, okay. No wonder Ted Bundy was cool.
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy. Ted Bundy was killer.
Ted Bundy was not cool.
Right. So check this out. There's an episode where he's talking to his kids and was like, why were you so his kids were like, they got together and was like, yo, why were you so unhappy? What is it that was just so, going on with your life? And he was like, and if you watch the show, his kids are grown and married, right? He's married to a whole nother woman. Was it Vera Gara? I can't think of her name. Right. Right. So he got a chance to pick the one he wanted. Anyway, right. He said the reason why
he picked a good one.
Right.
I digress.
Right. He said the reason why I chose not to leave was, and he explains the day that he was going to divorce her. They went to Disneyland. He came back. He said the reason why is because I wanted my kids to be able to, when I wake up, for me to be there. And he said I decided to put my happiness on the back burner. Now nowadays that sounds noble, right? But that's also cheaper to keep her.
Yes.
In reality, what happened was he denied himself and in order for the greater good of the kids. So before I go any further, anybody,
but isn't that called maturity?
It could be, but what's interesting, they call it maturity, but it's also a archetype or a roadmap for what most men do, period. And, for certain aspects, it's like, all right, let me deny myself so I can move forward on this level and for the greater good. And the greater good, for the most part, seems to be from one-sided. Now that's not always. I'm being general. With that said, this idea of cheaper to keep her and staying for the sole purpose of not only for the money, which we can boil it down to, but also for a model of, okay, I want to see my kids and my kids to have the opportunity to actually see me in the morning every day.
I mean, yeah, but
there's a but.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a see me in the morning. We can just FaceTime to see me in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know that. I mean, again, it took two people, took two to make, take two to raise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's no way around it.
Yeah.
So cheaper to keep her. I mean, if you're in a situation where you gray divorced and you might as well separate it, then you separate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we should relabel separation as gray divorce. So.
Well,
you're not separated.
No, you're not separated. You're in the house. You're
Right.
separated emotionally. Great divorce is.
Yeah, you're in
So
the
this
house.
is not back in the day where you used to be still married on two in order to keep the health insurance. You're still in the house. You're going through the motions, but the emotion is not there.
Right. And it's cheaper to keep her is, man, you paying a price. Whether it's the ulcer that you're gonna get,
but
the kidney stones, the impotency.
Because if you're doing cheaper to keep her and saying there's kids in the house, that's not a greater good.
But it was interesting in that same episode. The kids said, "I would have rather you just leave,
that's what I'm saying.
Mom, instead of just being the way that you were."
Energy all in the house.
Exactly.
But statistically, there are so many things that happens to children when the father's in the house. They said whether he's engaged or not, they're less likely to get pregnant. They're more likely to graduate from school. They're less likely to get in trouble.
Right.
So his presence alone, by being there in that gray marriage, does have some greater consequences.
I agree.
Overall for the betterment of the kids.
No, I agree.
That little boy that would act a fool ain't acting a fool.
But those, I think that might be one of the adverse effects things, and that's maybe because essentially what you're looking for comes out of a family, comes out of community. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have that within the home, then those elements you're talking about.
No. But even the man's just his mere presence.
So this is
home.
This is the interesting part. The quality of the presence is what Brian talked about.
I understand.
That's what Brian talked about.
You could be in the house, but then you could just be turning to him. Him downstairs.
Him downstairs.
He wants some milk and cookies. You
don't want to turn into him.
My headphones ain't got all jammed up.
Him just here because it's cheaper to keep her.
Go ahead, Ivra, because what Brian is talking about is Bilal talking about presence and the benefit of presence. Brian talking about energy and what that is and what happens or devolve within that family system. What you got?
There's no good answer.
There's never a good answer.
When you get to this point,
you
have to make the best of it. You know what I mean? Like you just got to figure out how to make the best of it.
Right.
But go back to your point of the health, right? So in this day and age, we're being more health conscious. Yeah. If you're going through what I've noticed with men that I see, one is the loss of identity. So that was first. Yeah. Right. So the loss of self. Second thing is the loss of sexual vitality. They're usually talking about impotence, which we see an increase in the amount of the blue pill. Secondarily of that, they also begin to have a physical breakdown, kidney stones, prostate cancer, and all that other stuff. So go back to your point as it relates to the quality of the person's life who is choosing, because it's still a choice. Now you can make another dollar, but you can't make another second.
Or make another kidney. You know what I mean? Like make another prostate.
It's black market for that.
Black market.
You know?
But no, for real. Because that's the
true.
challenge, right? Because now what we're doing is you have one life. And what you're doing is saying and you're making a decision for a period of time. I'm willing to let go of this aspect.
So,
of me.
okay, but just say you're blue collar. And you got a good living, you have a good standard of life, quality of life, but if you get divorced, so now you're talking about alimony and child support. So now your life gets cut, and if you have some assets, that's cut in half. If you have a pension, guess what? She gonna get a piece of that. So every 5 years you're married, I think it's a year of alimony. So I mean, you're talking about now that create stress because now you got to get another job to kind of get back to where you were. So now you're working two jobs. So it's like, where is that fine line where there's health and there's stability, and then you have a high quality of life.
But what's interesting, no matter what, you're going to lose the money.
Oh, money's gone. That's
Right. So the money, and if you're going to focus on money, you've already lost. Whether we're talking about child support as it relates to fatherhood to check, or we're talking about custody, or we're talking about great divorce. If your mission is money, you're going to lose money because you made a choice.
Yeah.
It's two choices you made. One, to practice, and that practice produced, and secondly, to say I do.
But what if it's a woman you really loved and then you just grew apart?
It's still a choice.
And you have children.
It's still a choice.
I understand that. But it's someone, if it's your wife and you had children by your wife and you grow apart. So your choice was, yes, we love each other. Yes, we're going to get married. Yes, we're going to have kids. But I didn't foresee down the road.
I got an answer to that. I'm going to let somebody else see what they say. I got an answer to that.
I mean, you only grow apart when you're not talking.
Yeah. You either grow together or you grow apart. That's a good point.
So, but if you're not doing what though?
You're not talking.
There you
go. That's the only way you grow apart. That's the only way you grow apart.
But that happens in marriage.
But it happens
in
all
relationships.
The time. But
jobs.
I got an answer to that though. Okay. I got it. What you got, Ivra?
Man, I'm listening on
all
this.
Right, so when we talked about marriage, this is the thing. You never marry the same, you never are married to the same person every day.
Correct.
So I'm gonna go back to be every day.
Every couple hours.
That's it. So I'm gonna go back to
what time is it?
I'm gonna go to B's point. There's a part. So I have this formula when I'm working with my clients. Okay. You commit first to yourself, second to the agreement, and third to the person and their idea of safety.
Can I modify that?
Yeah, but hold on.
First to God.
Well, yeah.
Second to yourself.
Yes.
Then to the okay. So just shift everything down. Well, that's all I'm gonna say.
If we're looking at it from an earthly level.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you look at yourself as an individual and you have the hat of husband and father, there's a level of committing to yourself, and you have to ask yourself, is this enough for me in my life right now? And if you say yes, all right, then you go to the second commitment, which is the agreement. You say, okay, I'm looking at this agreement. What needs to change about my agreement or my marriage, right? And then you go to that person who you're in a marriage with and say, you know what? These are the things we need to improve. And a lot of times it's simple conversation and reorganization of priorities. The more you talk or commune with your significant other, the better your relationship is.
Here, I got an example for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I got my letter saying that I was done paying child support on a Friday. On a Friday.
This is going somewhere.
I know. I can see it in his eyes. I see his expression.
The next day, Saturday, I woke up in the morning, went to my wife, and I said, baby, this ain't got nothing to do with you. I wanted a motorcycle before I met you. Child support was taking my bike.
Yeah.
Child support gone. I'm coming back with a bike.
Yeah.
What'd she say?
What could she say? What could she say?
Because
if you look at it,
she could say a lot.
No. I'm gonna say that that's a conversation because motorcycles are dangerous.
They're very dangerous.
Hey. And that's one thing that I know we're digressing off.
Hey, you'll never get me on another one.
Child support's dangerous too.
But I was going to get a bike.
Go ahead.
And my wife and my mother, who usually don't agree on, they didn't agree on a whole lot. Well, I should say, but they both said, my wife said, baby, I don't think that's a good idea. And my mother, who very rarely comment, she said, son, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I listened. I said, you know what? They both agree.
It wasn't a good idea.
Maturity kicked in, and then I've scraped enough people off the ground on my job.
Yeah. We got 2 minutes, and I want to clear out with some anecdotes so that we can help people that's listening. All 3-4 listeners that's listening. So this is what I heard from B. He went back, he had a communication, and he went with that first commitment to self and said, this is what I wanted. And as a part of their agreement, there is not that a disrespect of, oh, what's she gonna say? It's more like, okay, he's doing exactly the commitment that he had for himself, while at the same time understanding that I'm affected by that commitment. So he's having a discussion, although it's a it's more of a directive. Right. So as we head now, we got a couple minutes. We got 1 minute. What are the top 2 things we can do to help brothers in order to, quail what's going on with this money situation? Go ahead, B. Make it quick.
What I would say is, if a brother's in this situation, find an older man or a brother who's been through it and talk to him.
All right.
Yeah, Brian. Just understand there's rules to the game, and get you somebody who's been in the game and got some skin in the game that can teach you.
Okay.
I would say whatever you have to do to make some sort of agreement with that woman, do it.
Okay.
Do not subject yourself to the system.
All right. B, real quick, Bilal, because I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in. You can
Absolutely.
get Code M. Go to Code M Magazine on social media and all that.
Magazine.com.
Magazine.com. There. B,
Hey,
Brian.
come wash your clothes, baby. 20980 Libby Road in Maple Heights, right by Home Depot.
Ivra.
Hey, it is once again, it's Life Insurance Awareness Month. Ivra Bassett at Skylight Financial Group.
All right. Well, we did it. Yes, it was no cussing. So let's get up out of here. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM.